Hello good people, I'm Dmitry and welcome to our cool PC accessories you never heard of video. Our PC components video did really well, check it out over here. I love doing these compilations because you get to explore the weird and cool sides of accessories for a particular category and certain items that you wonder why do they even exist. Everything will be linked in the description below. Let's begin with the first one. PC panel. So what you're looking at is an audio controller with a pretty basic and simple construction. It is maple, feels solid with 4 aluminum wheels in the front, all of which have the dial functionality and a button functionality. The USB 2 cable is not braided, but it's plenty long to connect to your PC. And the whole idea behind PC panel is to give you functionality for a lot of volume control and also give you additional macro customization because of those buttons. Within the PC panel driver software, you can select what the button customization does per each volume knob. So either doing something with media controls, selecting different input devices, setting up different shortcuts per application, for example. While in the dial app, you can control app volume, focus volume, or device volume. That gives you so much control from this PC panel device when it comes to volume across your entire ecosystem of desktop. Either devices, applications, or whatever. For example, one dial can be in charge of your browser volume, another one will be from your music player, another one can adjust the gain of your microphone, and another one for whatever else you desire. This thing is so simple, but yet so powerful when it comes to volume and macro customization that you never knew you'd actually want to use. And my only complaint here is that the device is pretty lightweight and it doesn't have any rubber adhesive at the bottom, nor does it come with anything, so it's not very stationary. A lot of users are mounting this thing under the desk, so it's stationary, but still in reach, and you have all that full control and volume functionality. The new Pure Loop all-in-one coolers from Be Quiet have a doubly decoupled pump near the radiator for silent operation and flexibility for mounting, an elegant cooling block with pure white illumination, an accessible fill port on the radiator with liquid for future proofing, and Pure Wings 2 fans on the rad. Check it out below. Moving on to the Corsair LT100 lighting towers, and so many people have asked about what they are in the background of my videos, and they are the Corsair LT100. In the package we have the light tower with only one-sided illumination, and that is because you can either have the light towers facing you, the user, or facing the wall for that ambient spill. The base on the other hand has RGB illumination all around, and you simply pop the light tower into the base. It's a toolless assembly, so if you decide to want the light tower facing you, it's a really easy reconfiguration. Color-wise, we have a ton of effects inside IQ software. All the colors here are very accurate, and the actual spill is incredibly soft. You don't see individual LEDs, and that is because the diffusion layer is super thick, and I really appreciate that. We have an adhesive headphone holder that you can attach to either tower, and we also have a button on the main controller so that if the IQ is not running in the background, you'll have this RGB cycling effect. So with this button, you can turn the light towers on or off. Literally the only downside is the price at $130. This is an expensive lighting solution, especially because there's absolutely no other function but for it to look pretty and I guess holding your headphones. This next item is super relevant for today's day and age when we're constantly on video calls and everything in the background is super noisy. This is an ASUS AI noise cancelling microphone adapter. Basically, it's a dongle that allows you to run background noise cancellation to mute out unwanted noise from your microphone audio. It works with any 3.5mm headphones as long as it's a 4-pole connection, or you can simply plug in a standalone microphone into it. And since this device comes with either the USB-C connection and the USB-A adapter, you can connect it to your computer, to your smartphone, to your iPad, whatever. And that is because it is driverless. It's a simple plug-and-play solution. And the interesting thing is that even if you plug this in, it's not going to recognize it in the driver software until you plug in the microphone or the headset into the jack. So that's pretty clever. All the processing and noise cancellation is done on the actual USB sound card, and the result is pretty impressive. Take a listen.
So what you're listening to now is that recorded by the Razer Blackshark V2X gaming headset, a fantastic pair for $59 with a really good microphone, and this is currently plugged into the AI noise cancelling sound adapter. So there is a lot of vocal compression. Obviously, it's not the most natural sounding microphone, but did you know that I have a drill, a loud drill running in the background right now, and I'm also hammering on a keyboard keystrokes pretty loudly. And then when we go back to the AI noise cancelling mic adapter, you can hear how all that noise just disappears. Now I've plugged in the same headset into my Sound Blaster X3 with the most aggressive noise cancellation properties applied in the software, and as you can hear, it's not as aggressive, obviously, as the AI noise cancelling adapter. My voice sounds much better, but there's so much extra noise in the background that isn't getting cancelled. Yikes. And just for reference, here's what the mic sounds like without any additional ambient noise that I was simulating with the construction and the keyboard typing. So yeah, it's not bad. It's a very good competitor to the RTX Voice. You can check out that demo over here, but that was pretty taxing on your GPU. It requires additional software, requires an RTX GPU, and now you can have basically the same effect with a USB adapter.
So well done, ASUS. Just keep in mind this adapter tries to save all the voice and your vocals from your environment. So if you have other people talking, that will be picked up, while dogs barking, music playing without any vocals, construction noises, traffic, air conditioning, fridges, all that will be completely destroyed in the background and will not be audible. This next one is a quick one. We have the Keychron T10 USB hub. So we have a USB-C connection on one end that is compatible with MacBooks. It is compatible with standard Windows Type-C notebooks and also a few smartphones. All around the body, we have multiple port selections like SD carder, TF reader, USB 3 ports on the front, two of them on the side, and then in the back we have the RGA 45 jack, VGA, and HDMI. Once you plug it in, a tiny red LED shines so you know when it is powered. And because of this triangular design, you can put this standing up, so certain ports are facing you. And you can also plug in USB-C power into it that will consequently charge whatever device you're using if you're running it into the appropriate port that accepts charging. I never realized how useful these hubs were until I started traveling with my Razer Blade, where I have a Type-C connection, and from that I have all this additional I/O. My only complaint with this one is that the SD card reader is super slow, maxing out at 20 megabytes per second. Next up, we have the Corsair iCUE Nexus. This is a touchscreen keyboard/desktop accessory that you can either attach to a Corsair keyboard or simply put it in its own dock and have it on your desktop. As much as it is about the hardware, it is the software that makes this thing really cool. So not only can you add different buttons for shortcuts, for media controls, for volume customization, for app macros, whatever. You can also add system statistics that will display GPU temperature, CPU load, CPU temperature, and etc. If you have other iCUE devices plugged into your system, you can change the lighting so everything is cohesive without entering iCUE. You can create multiple pages with their own widgets and buttons, all of which can be customized in terms of text, color, and size. The resolution here is not too bad, especially when you're looking at the arm's length distance, but my complaint here is with the viewing angles. When you're sitting in front of it, it's not a problem, especially when it's facing you, but side to side viewing is absolutely terrible. At $99, it's a pretty expensive accessory, but a really cool one nonetheless, especially if you're coming from the age of, if you remember the G19 keyboard from Logitech and that had the screen, you know, this is your way of going back to the nostalgia days with a bit more 2020 tech and customization. Next up, we have these Phanteks Neon RGB flexible lighting strips for the interior of your PC. So the really cool thing about these ones, aside from that beautiful soft illumination because the diffusion layer is pretty thick, is that you can route it around your motherboard, around certain components of your enclosure because of these included brackets that you can either attach to the case with adhesive or mount them underneath the motherboard standoffs. They're called neon strips for a reason. None of them will be straight inside your PC, and that's actually kind of the beauty behind it. I would say it's one of the most unique ways to light up an interior of a PC, and if you have a Phanteks enclosure, you can connect that directly to a case or simply reroute them to your motherboard with a 5-volt pin. Now moving on to some questionable RGB accessories for your PC. Here we have this HDMI 4K RGB Razer Chroma compatible cable. It is one of the most expensive cables I have ever owned, and you need that USB connection in order to have software control. Otherwise, it's just an RGB loop. To be honest though, the illumination is just as soft as we've seen with the LT100 towers and the neon strips from Phanteks. It is only one-sided as well. And I guess in certain situations, it would be kind of cool. I mean, controlling the illumination of an HDMI cable via software, it's pretty cool for 2020, but come on, let's all agree it is a little bit pointless. Moving into the less pointless parts, we have these colored thumb screws from CableMod. They are aluminum, they come in a variety of colors, and just a fun way to customize something in your system, either securing PCI slots or side panels with these thumb screws. Now they are flat, meaning you cannot use a screwdriver, can only be done with your thumb, and since they are aluminum, they're not magnetic, so don't try to catch one with your screwdriver. Next up are these fun mic covers from Logitech. They come with different shapes and colors. They can fit a microphone capsule anywhere between 6 to 13 millimeters, and they basically fit all of the microphones that I have in my collection. They replace the stock foam filter, so they do prevent a little bit of the popping noise, and they're also quite fun. Bonus tip here, I appreciate they do not smell. Did you know that Razer made gaming gum? Oh man, we had so many laughs after the brief. They are continuing with consumables within the gaming market. They started with that gaming powder and now with the Respawn 5 gum. So the thing here is that it's basically the same ingredients as your powder without the added caffeine. There are a bunch of vitamins in here and tea extract, which is the energy boost element there. So chew, focus, repeat. I love that slogan over here. We have 3 flavors. Pomegranate watermelon is my favorite, tropical punch, and cool mint. I have never shot B-roll of gum, but it is dark gray, and after you chew it, it's still dark gray. In terms of flavor intensity, it is incredible for the first minute, and then the flavor dies to about 10%. What surprises me the most is that they're selling these in packs of 10, so you get 150 pieces of gum for $28. And surprise number 2 is that I actually find that to improve my focus, not just when I'm gaming, but when I'm editing, if I'm feeling a little bit tired, piece of gum and I'm good for like another hour. There's no sugar crash afterwards either, so I mean, it's pretty legit, but still, it's gaming gum, all right? And lastly, speaking of pointless gaming things, we have another cable from Vivify. This is W10 gaming USB-C to USB-A illuminated cable. It follows in the footsteps of that HDMI cable where the illumination is only on the one side. It's pretty even and pretty bright and uniform throughout, but it's not RGB. You have to choose the different color variation when you order the cable. I was excited to use this with my keyboard, but it's very stiff, so positioning it the right way so that the lighting actually is visible is kind of difficult. So this cable is almost unpredictable. It's just really funny to see a gaming USB cable on the package, but what we were expecting from a lighting cable in the first place, right? All right, so I think that concludes all of our cool PC accessories you probably never heard of. Let me know if anything stood out as the most interesting in this roundup, and let us know in the comments if you've stumbled upon something totally crazy but think would be kind of cool at the same time for this whole space. I'm Dmitry, thanks so much for watching. Check out this other relevant content. Subscribe for more. I'll talk to you in the next video.